Well, what do you think is the best rap song that I've never heard, or the best rap song that most people haven't heard? Today, I'm going to show you one. You probably haven't heard it. You probably even heard of it. It's called R.E.S.P.E.C.T by Mr. Pigeons. And let's just get one thing out of the way. This is a weird looking video for me. I'm recording at my table. I'm intentionally backlit. You're going to hear the sound of my baby playing with her little stroller behind me. This is kind of a far out video because I just got to say one thing. I got my plaque. I got my 100K subscribers. So I don't need to worry about algorithms anymore. I don't need to worry about growth. The pursuit of growth leads to a brittle foundation, as it said on a recent podcast that I listened to. So I want to tell you why, if you're watching this, first of all, you are super duper a real one. So thank you for that. And I want to tell you the two reasons that you haven't been suggested this video. First of all, lesser known artists just totally get the shaft in terms of the reviews on this channel. Like you won't see it. They will hide it from you. And then even if you do see it, you might just have too much faith. Okay, now my baby's looking at me like, Poppy, what are you doing? I'm working. I'm having fun talking about music. You know that music we've been listening to the whole time? R.E.S.P. Doodle doo doo doo. Yeah, you like that song? Yeah, me too. You might just have too much faith in that algorithm. Okay. So I'm sort of famous for being a little bit against the predictive algorithm, the way that it works. I don't like it when I am told, if you like this, then you might like that. I prefer to go by what I call the older sibling model. So I have three older brothers. Maybe you have an older brother, older sister. You might have someone in your life, and that to me is the role that I try to play on this channel. Yeah, sure, I'll talk about the hottest stuff and the biggest songs, but also part of what I want is like to just, in the words of our non-savior, put you up on game. And what's funny is so the reason that I'm reviewing this at all is I was sent an email to my Gmail. And I get a lot of emails from a lot of musicians and a lot of labels. And it's weird because sometimes I listen. Most of the time I just don't even listen. Okay? And that's nothing personal. I just don't have enough time. Sometimes I listen and don't say anything. Sometimes I listen and maybe I'll like leave a comment on, I don't know, YouTube. But for the most part, getting to this point where I listen and review, I'm not even sure if it's ever happened. And I've even been offered money. I got an email from super producer Benny Blanco. And frankly, if he had not offered to give me money, I probably would have reviewed it because like I like Benny Blanco, but it was probably his person anyways. So that's just to say, if you're an artist out there and you don't mind feeling ignored potentially, I don't mind you reaching out to me. So, what was it that made Mr. Pigeons jump out? Well, first of all, I love pigeons. I love birds in general, and I love pigeons. I love what they mean. I love what they represent. I love being in places where there are pigeons. I know they're often hated. Perhaps it's a sort of luxury that I love pigeons. My wife, who's sitting over there, says you love pigeons because you've never lived in a European city for more than a couple months. Was that what you said? Something like that. But anyways, I like the image that's brought up, and then he happened to mention in his email to me that he is Zimbabwean. So immediately I'm thinking, okay, I don't know anything about music by people from Zimbabwe except for Billy Woods. So I got Billy Woods stuck in my head, and then I watched this video. And because I know YouTube is going to bury this, and that's why I don't mind there being sounds behind me. That's why I don't mind this super crazy light that I got going here. I'm going to just show you the video. I'm going to share the audio. We're going to listen to the song together. I'm actually going to play the whole damn thing, which will ensure that, I don't know, I might even get copyright struck. Who knows? But let's go to this song, share sound, optimize for video clip, and share. Okay. So first of all, this guy is apparently also a fashion designer, which kind of comes through with his general style. But let's just listen to the song together, okay? We'll listen to it all the way through, and then I'll come back to it and go through the lyrics and what I like about it. Are you ready to be put up on game? Give me a thumbs up if you are.
R.E.S.P. 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 Reflecting, complexion, flared face with the rest, and connect the deepest of the cosmic rules are augmented. Combine the time, account the past projected, reimagine, deep dive. This feels tremendous. Engines, engineers, my doom bots are pigeons and planes, steaming through the rain, droning, digging dynasty, dripping and dropping on the obstinate, often plotting with the flock again, brethren, my breath again. R.E.S.P. 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 Birds, planes, birds, planes. R.E.S.P.E.C.T. R.E.S.P.E.C.T. Rhodesia, it's called a new Rhodesia. Amnesia, ambient side, the sky's readiness. Bright days, cross paths and crossways. Opulence eruptions, earthy metal glazed. Yoshinda Yoshihara, Aswingen Gachirara, Nobunanga, Nakatunga Kudara. The Venus of traditions, Kurangarira mission. Shirins, you know one and that you lay back and listen. R.E.S.P. R.E.S.P. R.E.S.P.
Did you expect that guy to be rocking a Blink 182 hat? I know I didn't. So, right? I mean, what, like, truly for me, in terms of alternative hip hop, there's not much more I could want than that. The ethereal, bizarre, backwards beat, the way that it curls in, his totally idiosyncratic delivery that works and rhymes sometimes and sometimes doesn't. Again, the comp to Billy Woods is maybe too easy because, it's somebody from Zimbabwe who thinks a lot about his heritage while living in a more economically advantaged state. In this case, this guy lives in London, apparently, or England at least. But I think it goes beyond that. I think it goes into the feel of the song. It goes into the way the lyrics are, and we'll get to these in a second, are like so invitingly, frustratingly opaque. You really can't get to them. I've spent a lot of time with him. He didn't even really, I think, want to share them with me. But he was like, well, just one song is fine. And it makes sense because I think he's leaving a lot up to interpretation. So maybe we'll listen to it again. But what I'd like to do now is actually just kind of go through these lyrics and just try to see like what can we understand. Now, I intentionally did not do the thing where I went back and asked him for more questions. I didn't ask for more precision. I didn't say, "Hey, what does this lyric mean?" Because I respect his desire to keep. Where did I put the file? I had a file. Okay, well, listen. So I can't find the file anymore. I had the lyrics up here. Oh, sweet. I can pause. This is one thing I can do when I record on Zoom is I can pause. Hey, what? No, stop it. I can pause the recording, right? Can't I pause the recording? Okay, stop share. Okay, so I figured it out. It actually, my computer got so excited about that awesome beat, it just quit out of Microsoft Word. So let me share with you these lyrics and just kind of go through them and some of the ideas that are happening here. Okay, so first of all, the fact that he can't even make it through the word R.E.S.P.E.C.T to start off, right? I find that fascinating. It creates anxiety. If you don't know the song R.E.S.P.E.C.T, made famous by Aretha Franklin, originally written by Otis Redding. If you ever want to listen to an unsatisfying version of Respect, listen to Otis Redding's version. Aretha Franklin made it way better. Reflecting complexion. Now, this is the way that he sent it to me, and I'm going to assume that spelling is intentional. So like complexion and complex at the same time. I don't know. I'm assuming I don't know anything about this guy. I know he's got that cool hat. I don't know, does that hat have a name? I don't know about that. But what I do know is this is an interesting mixture of the word complexion and complex. Okay. Flare-faced fluorescent. I think fair-faced fluorescent, I think he's trying to make us think perhaps of complexions, of different complexions, of blackness and of whiteness. Fair, flare, connect the deepest self, the cosmic rules are augmented. Combine the time, the account, past projected, reimagine, deep dive. This feels tremendous. So like, I'm lost, right? And I'm not trying to get found here. I'm just trying to highlight them so that when we listen to it again, we can kind of get into it and sort of like, this is the world that we're in, where he's sort of talking about the past. He's talking about nature. He's talking about fluorescence, which is the opposite of nature. There's a lot of sort of play between natural things and unnatural things. Reimagine as it repeats again. Engines, engineers, my Doombots are pigeons. So, I don't know. I assume this is Doombots in reference to MF Doom sending out fake performers to perform for him. So it's like, instead of going to a Mr. Pigeon show, you just go and there's just a bunch of pigeons and planes steaming through the rain. So again, we have this combination of organic and mechanical with planes, droning, digging, dynasty, dripping and dropping on the op stem. This is one of the first times where he starts like dipping into sort of a more Caribbean slang, which I would imagine is more influenced from being in London. So at times he'll just sort of go on to this kind of just for like a little millisecond, just a little millisecond. He'll go into a little bit of a like a not necessarily Jamaican patois, but like London slang influenced by the Caribbean, often plotting with the flock again, brethren, breathe again, right? So just all these terms, optem and brethren, and we see that he's able to do these very complicated kind of rhyme runs and alliteration and all these kinds of plays, but at the same time, like it's not much like, again, Billy Woods. And I intentionally didn't ask him if he was in contact with Billy Woods or not, right? Because like, I don't want to generalize. It's an awfully lazy thing to say, these are two rappers from Zimbabwe and they remind me of each other, right? That's lazy as hell. But also it's true. So I don't know what to say about that. Then for the chorus, it's just saying the whole word. Rhodesia, it's tarred in New Rhodesia. So if you haven't spent any time studying Rhodesia, studying Zimbabwe, the story is very complicated, and I'm not going to explain it to you all right now, okay? I'll just speak about it briefly, So there's a map. There's a map of the world. Let's see. Zimbabwe is right about there, okay? And the history of it is bizarre and strange. It fought for freedom from England, but primarily because the white colonizers wanted more freedom, to be more racist than the British Empire wanted them to be. Okay, it's a bad sign when you're waiting on the British Empire to be the good guys in a story of racism and oppression. For a while, it was known as Rhodesia, and eventually other forces, revolutionary forces, eventually headed up by Mugabe, took over, and that's the whole Billy Woods' whole stories. Billy Woods was, I believe, actually there when Mugabe took over. You had all these revolutionary forces who were trained in China, trained in Russia, sort of, trained by communist forces. And so there's this whole thing where Rhodesia really represents sort of like what we think of when we talk about apartheid, in South Africa, but in some ways almost worse because there was the Civil War where there was a small amount of white resistance fighters and a large amount of, non-white natives of the land, and they were fighting against each other, and the fighting was brutal. And now if you look it up, oh my God, like super weird Nazis. First of all, they're all into Pinochet, which is just like, and then they're all into Rhodesia. If you ever see someone with a Rhodesian flag, run and call the police. Just call the police. They've probably got some kind of I don't know, some kind of plans going. Okay. It's not good if you see a white person who's tells you how great Rhodesia is. But what I like about these lyrics, and we'll go back to these lyrics, and of course, everything's very complicated right now in Zimbabwe. They've had a huge failure of economy. It's a very difficult place to be, all that. So let's go back to these lyrics here. And just this way that he's playing with Rhodesia, it's tarred in New Rhodesia. They do export a lot of tar from Rhodesia, from Zimbabwe. I looked that up. Amnesia, amethyst, Skye, the sky is red. So the reason that the Brits wanted Zimbabwe was because it was a place they could exploit, right? So all these resources that can be taken out, and the idea of New Rhodesia, right? That like, what is New Rhodesia? And this, so sometimes there are questions where if I could ask an artist a question, I would ask them, and I would hope they would say, I'm not going to answer. So, is New Rhodesia the way that he feels living in London? Is New Rhodesia what he thinks has happened to Zimbabwe? Is New Rhodesia someplace in his mind, in his space, where he feels like in this kind of weird, oppressed place? Like, what does New Rhodesia mean to Mr. Pigeon? I hope he never answers. And also, hey, what's the answers? This kind of false hope, bright days, cross pants and crossways, opulence, eruptions, earthly metal glazed, Yoshindo Yoshihara. Now, I looked this up the other day. I'm gonna look it up on my phone right here. Yoshinda Yoshihara is a Japanese fella, I believe. Yoshinda Yamahara. Okay, I did not spell that right at all. Oh my God, what did I actually just type in there? Okay, Yoshindo. Yes, Yoshindo Yoshihara was a swordsmith. Okay. Ah, I swing and Nagachihara, wishing for someone to go to sleep. So I assume this is in the language of Shona. So if you look up Zimbabwe and languages, it's actually a very complicated place. It used to have the record as having the most recognized languages with 16. My son now tells me that is now, did he say Uruguay? Somewhere in South America. Somewhere in South America now has 46 official languages. But Shona is spoken by about, I think, 40% of the people, and then Ndebele is spoken by 40% of people. So I don't know which one it is. And again, this is just one of the most important things you can talk about. When you talk about music that's made by first, second generation actual immigrants, the play of language is important because it creates an audience. So the audience is somebody who understands all of these words, who's able to understand them, and then it speaks to them. So probably if you're capable of understanding all the words in this song, you know exactly what he means by New Rhodesia, okay? Me sitting here in suburban America, I don't quite know. I have to look this up. I had to go like, there's no way Yoshindo Yoshihara is a word in an African dialect, right? But I didn't know. Nobunaga, Nagaka, Tonga, Kudahara, to govern or rule a region over a long period. So it's like talking about all these like themes of like slight violence, at the same time as talking about ruler. This feels to me like this is probably an amazing poem. This is probably an amazing poem about post-colonial tension and feelings of isolation, alienation, and loss and memory. Okay, I'm a good enough academic to recognize that this is a good poem about those things. Problem is, I'm not an expert in Zimbabwe. I'm not an expert in African poetry. I'm not even an expert in African diaspora poetry, unless you, yeah, I'm not. So let me just be smart enough to tell you there's something really good here. You should look into it. A Venus of traditions, Kurangaria, so remember mission. And I don't know, right? Like, is this word mission on purpose? Because it's like, remember the missionaries who came and tried to take over and convert everyone to their religion very successfully. In Zimbabwe, 98% of the population is Christian. Yes, that's what I read. Shiri Zununa Ndati, lay back and listen. So the birds see, lay back and listen. We have this constant play back and forth with these birds and these airplanes, and he repeats it a couple times in the chorus: birds and airplanes. We have the organic and then we have the man-made. And I'm not sure if the whole idea is talking about the corruption of society and racism and opposition to the sort of natural positive state of human beings, which gets corrupted by all these other forces like colonialism and free market capitalism. I'm not going to go that far as to say that's what this is about, but I will say that's what it makes me feel. So let's just listen to the song one more time. You're already riding with me. Did I steer you wrong? Is this not like the best rap song that you've never heard? Okay. Am I wrong on that? All right, let's get back to the song. Let's listen to it Baby one more time, and I'll kind of pause it and share some thoughts about the video. He also made the beat. So he made the beat and he made the raps. And if you look up his bio, he's like a fashion guy and does this. This is an artist. This isn't necessarily like a hip hop bars guy. It seems like he's just a very creative guy. And this is one way that he does it. Okay. So we start off with a very British image of finishing off a pint. They appear to be drinking a Kronenberg, which is a very rare French beer. That's not from the song. Okay. We see his name, Mr. Pigeons, and then just the way this is framed here, right? No children allowed, no dogs, toilets strictly for customer use, toilet for customer use only. I think this is on purpose. We're trying to see this is a very unwelcoming place. So he's sitting here and he's participating in British culture of drinking a pint in a beer, but at the same time he's being given all of these symbols that he shouldn't be there. And he's got very green pants. Wait, did he pee in his pants? What is that? Is it supposed to look like his pants are wet? Can't tell. That's weird. All right, well, maybe. Who knows?
R.E.S.P.E.C.T.
And I think the angle here is on purpose as well to try to keep you sort of woozy and wheezy. So like the lyrics, the way they're delivered, the beat, the way that it's delivered, and the fact that he's stumbling and shambling almost like a zombie.
Face the rest and connect the deepest of the cosmic rules are augmented. Combine the time.
What is that hat, too?
Account the past, projected, reimagine, deep dive. This feels tremendous. Engineers, my doom bots are pigeons and planes, steaming through the rain, droning, digging dynasty, dripping and dropping on the often plotting with the flock again, brethren.
So you saw how he switched into the kind of Britishy slang thing, cuts back to his very, very, very green pants.
My breath again. R.E.S.P.
Now, who's this guy? Okay. Is this guy supposed to represent like a potential source of disrespect? Is this supposed to represent like a typical kind of like white guy who might be a problem? Is this like his friend and partner? Who is the Blink-182 guy? That's probably the greatest mystery of this whole thing. Maybe it's trying to build up some sense of maybe they're going to get together and like be in conflict, right? I thought maybe this is the guy's producer. I don't think it is. Well, he does look like a white rap producer. Like if this guy doesn't also produce rap music, I would be shocked, but that's okay.
R.E.S.P. R.E.S.P.
Oh, it's backwards. I didn't understand. He's backwards going down here, check that out, right? It's actually backwards. I think that's supposed to match the song, the way the song goes, the way it's backwards.
Birds, planes, R.E.S.P.E.C.T. R.E.S.P.E.C.T. Rhodesia, it's called a new Rhodesia. Amnesia, ambient side, the sky's readiness. Bright days, cross paths and crossways.
I don't know what this space is. This must be just some public art in a metro station, but these really bright colors, it's very striking.
Opulence eruptions, earthy metal glazed, Yoshindo Yoshihara, Aswegen Gachirara, Nobunanga, Nagatunga Kudara, the Venus of traditions, Kurangarira mission, Shiritsu no one that you lay back and listen. R.E.S.P.
And then like at the end, the drum beat actually comes in more like fervent, more emphatic.
R.E.
Dude, get out of my face, right? How direct is he being with this video?
S.P. R.E.S.P.
All right, now in case you're wondering, like, okay, so this is good. This is the one song. What about the rest of his music? Let's see, how do I stop sharing? Oh, wait, did I already stop sharing? I did. Sweet. So you might be wondering, what the rest of his music like? It's great. The rest of his music is great. I listened to it all. I'm not going to give you like a full review of the album, except to sort of give you the title. Sorry, everything just keeps quitting on my computer. Every time I switch something, everything just quits totally out. Anyways, the rest of the album, it's got kind of a weird title. So the title of the album is, one second. Now I have to look this up because I keep forgetting it. It's like a color and a thing. So what is it exactly? Yes, it's called Peachy Turquoise. So I guess that's two colors kind of mixed up there. The rest of the album, it's just great. I'll just go through it super quick. Gas plays with words like gas and gasp for air and life. Piano loops are just there. Feathers tied into this whole theme. Feathers, yeah. Landscape and spring has more of a relentless flow, kind of a backwards beat. Galloping horses just goes over and over again with symmetry, synergy, symmetry, synergy, 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 symphony, that kind of thing where you just repeat words until you kind of feel like you're losing your mind. And then that makes you understand the nature of the word. See a sun come. We need peace. We need patience. Has a cool kind of beat shift in there where it switches. Now It's True is fun because it's mixed up with a sample called No It's True. Mersey is this totally crazy song with this great ratty guitar and a female vocalist, kind of world weary. And then the album ends with green, 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 all these things that are green. That's part of the reason I wanted to record here where it's all green behind me. So thank you for being real ones. Please check out Mr. Pigeons and Peachy Turquoise because we need to support more artists. And this is a great artist. All right. Well, until next time, thanks for hanging with me. There's the camera.